Hello everyone, this is Low Manor, I am Kurz, and welcome to Comicwatch, the series where we look into the lore and speculation around Blizzard's Overwatch comics. In this episode we're going to be delving into the detail behind Dragon Slayer, starring a certain Mr. Reinhardt Wilhelm. This comic takes us somewhere we haven't seen in any form thus far in the Overwatch universe, namely rural Germany. While it's basically impossible to pinpoint an exact location, somewhere in the Baden-Württemberg, apologies for the massacre of the pronunciation there, seems plausible given Reinhardt's base is in Stuttgart. He does definitely get around though, shown by his presence in King's Row and, much more weirdly, in Greenland in the Recall cinematic, so it could conceivably be elsewhere. Easily the most important part of this comic comes in the form of Brigitte, almost certainly the girl we hear Mercy refer to in in-game voice lines, as she says she disapproves of Reinhardt carting her around. It's pretty clear though that Brigitte loves this lifestyle with Reinhardt as much as he does, acting effectively as the squire to his chivalrous knight of legend. She's clearly a very talented mechanic, armoursmith and technician, likely making up for all of the skills that Reinhardt is missing himself and needs to keep going out in the world. She clearly cares for him in like a father-daughter kind of way, taking care of him and explaining his flights of fancy in a light-hearted way whenever needed. She certainly doesn't seem to mind living out of a van at any rate, though is this by choice or are the pair really that low on money and equipment? If so, how did they get to this? I mean, Reinhardt was a legend. Why is he living out of a van? As with pretty much every comic, we get yet more detail around how much the world is falling apart without Overwatch to hold it together. This time it's a town, or as we later find out, a bunch of towns, that are now completely under control of the Dragons gang. There's no police in sight, definitely no military, and the local authorities are described as inept and underfunded. The town is falling apart, rubble litters the streets and doors hang off their hinges. This isn't something that happens overnight, this place has been in decline for years. People are leaving in droves, but where to? Almost every part of the world we see is going to hell at one speed or another, and we know the nearby towns have the same issue. Are the cities any better? Maybe if we ever get a Reinhardt Stuttgart based map we'll find out. As for Reinhardt himself, well, physically the guy is massive, towering over the thugs by a distance. Perspective is hard in 2D, but there are enough shots to back up the 7'4" height stated in his reference kit. This imposing presence is an asset, but first and foremost he's a man of honour, believing that all combat should be honourable to the point of calling out his foes and allowing them time to prepare and even strike at him first. He won't put innocence at risk, even knowing that he'll personally suffer for that decision. His life plays out in line with his imagination and strong beliefs in the values of Knights of Legend, seeing himself as being on a quest to right the wrongs of the world and bring hope to the defenceless. These are also the goals he upheld as part of Overwatch, and while his name and face may be thought of by some to be a remnant of the past, Reinhardt shows here he's very much still alive and kicking. Before he confronts the dragons, we see what a sorry state his armour is in. How many and what kind of battles has he been in the recent past for it to get like this? Brigitte is clearly very familiar with repairing it by now. The reference made by one of the dragons to it being from a museum though, I wonder if that's a cheeky tie-in with the Overwatch museum full of armour that we see in the cinematic trailer. Even damaged, his Crusader armour and rocket hammer are truly terrifying though, making him even more imposing and giving him phenomenal speed and power. All through the fight he's picturing the thugs as actual dragonkin. Whether this is a conscious choice or just a part of who he is, I don't know, but it definitely doesn't dampen his abilities. At the end, the speed of which the town seems to have recovered is incredible. Reinhardt and Brigitte speak as if they've only just defeated the dragons, so I don't think they've stuck around to help rebuild, but the rebuild rate itself is remarkable. We do see this guy on the left here with a rubbish bag, so maybe I'm just reading too much into it. Hopefully the other towns controlled by the dragons will prosper in similar fashion, and Hannah, the little girl, has an upgraded, although now much less cuddly, stuffed lion to remember the living legend that saved them. And to top it all off, Reinhardt finally gets his currywurst. Thanks for watching this episode of Comicwatch, and as ever please post any thoughts, feelings and theories in the comments below. I'm particularly interested this week in what people think we'll see of Brigitte in the future. Will she be a hero? If so, what kind? I mean, my personal leaning off the back of this would be support or defence, but it'd be great to hear your ideas. Remember to hit those like and subscribe buttons for more regular Overwatch content. You can catch up on our old Reinhardt Lorewatch here, it needs updating to be honest, it was one of our first, and a few of our other series as well. Until next time, I've been Kurz, thanks for watching.